What's going on?
What's up, everybody? I'm done. I'm so done. Happy New Year. Yeah.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah. It has only taken, what, 5 hours to do this?
Hey, it has taken every doggone thing. When I
Right.
say everything, I mean everything.
Right. 6:30, right? Or 5:30,
Hey,
7:30. Which one is it?
it was my fault. It was a last minute, like, hoorah, because I was going to, nip you in the bud for the new year. So, because I ain't got time for your shenanigans. I tend to antagonize you, and
Yeah.
or do you antagonize me? I don't know what.
No. I think you're right. It's the first way you antagonize me.
Sometimes because you.
Well, no, I take that back. No, you don't antagonize me. You say things, and I'm like, whoa! I don't believe you said it about a favorite group of mine. And I'm like, he done went off.
What
and I'm
group?
like, what?
What group might that be? What group is that?
That would be excuse me. We're gonna start calling the group EV3 Part 2.
Hey, I'm with that.
It's the EV3, 2. EV3 Part 2. Yeah.
Hey,
the other EV3 will be Terry, Cindy, and Max, right?
Yes, which should have never been. It should have never happened. Should have never been. No, I am not digesting it. No, I do not like green eggs and ham. No, I'm not with that at all. Not a little bit. None of that. Although I love all the ladies. Let me make that clear. I love.
Oh, you do.
All.
I take that back. You do. You do like the original 4, but you give the original 2.5. 8.
No, but first of all, let me clear this up. I love all of the ladies in different ways and different forms. But when you go to trying to compare and see, the reason why I say that is because it is not enough of us original fans out here. And
you don't think?
Yes, because even when they have a special group says that they are crazed or obsessed with them, that group for whatever reason is partial to the current brand and does not really care for the original brand.
This is true.
Which I've never understood because the original brand is where all it's where the juices flow. It's almost like cooking a good pot roast, where the fat is. That's where you get your flavor. You see what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I cannot understand, nor will I ever be able to understand how you can discredit the doors that these ladies strutted across.
Who's doing that? You?
No, it's a lot of people that just don't. And unfortunately, I love the original. I love the original everything. I mean, if it's when a person carves it out, I don't care how nobody else, doesn't. Don't get me wrong. I give accolades to everybody else who may pay a tribute. Just like for me, I'm partial to the original person. You know what I'm saying? It's like. And I'm not saying that, like, if you give a person a leg up to give them their flowers, that's one thing. But when you try to take it away and say, like, oh, that person don't really matter, so or this is so and so now, it's like, oh no, don't discredit. And with EV, for me, it ain't but one EnVogue. So anybody else saying that they are, it's just
Who's discrediting who though?
No, I'm saying that there's a lot of people that discredit that. And I love right now, I love the current, version.
No,
but don't. I do not support, meaning I will not go to a concert to see them. No, I will not. Oh no, they won't get my cheese. No, dude, they will not. They will not get my cheese. I'm sorry, not sorry. Dude. I'm sorry because I love the ladies.
Let's go back though. Let's go back. Hold on. You're saying who does not support who? By the way, we're talking about the original EnVogue, right?
That's right.
But you're saying you would not go. But you're saying you would not go see the current EnVogue lineup, which is Terry, Sandy, and
Absolutely not.
Ball.
Absolutely not.
I would.
I know you would, but I'm telling you
Absolutely.
why I would not. I'm not only because, and not necessarily because of the lineup. It is because of the production with this lineup. That for me, I am a very big person upon quality upon quality, and the only reason why I will say that is because of the fact that the original ladies set a trend for all the other ladies to be anything, and all other groups wanted to become groups because of them. Okay, so with that being said, no, I don't want to see what was good not be. And again, reason why I say that production, I am a musician. Okay, I know a little bit about certain things, a little bit, but what I do know is people pay to come and see what they know of. And even if you're not exactly, you don't have everything, and that can be sometimes everybody or whatever, give me everything you got. And for me, it's just a shame to see what was not be anymore. So it's more of a disappointment to see them. It just is. Not because they
I
not
for
because they
sure.
can't sing, not because they're not good. It's just a disappointment. Only because there is just another void that somebody is not there. It's something missing. You can physically see it, and you mentally. I mean, the original four ladies, which is Cindy Herron, Dawn Robinson, Maxine Jones, and Terry Ellis, who were handpicked to be together. They knock down doors. They even have in the Black Smithsonian, which is the African American Smithsonian. They have their gowns. I mean, they're legendary to the point where they actually had clothes that is historic. So for me to say from that to I see people, I am a man that was raised by women, and my mother and my aunts and them, if they ever just, I mean, they always had top of the line stuff, but if they ever wanted to go and get a shirt for $9.99, they went to a store called Simply Fashions, or they went to a store. Now it's converted. I believe you ladies go to a store called Rainbow, if y'all ever heard of that. If y'all have not, I don't care. But I've heard of it, in conversation. Now that's where EV shops. Now the original four ladies, they were top notch. You see what I'm saying? They were ladies. They crossed their ankles, and they wore clothes, and they had nice hair. Now to see that now, as it not being what it was. Plus, there was four of them, so it was like 4 points on the map.
Yes,
Everybody had.
hold on. Are you saying to me that it sounds like you're saying that this current EnVogue lineup is not put together, but I disagree. I think they're always put together.
Kareem.
They are.
What I'm saying.
Now, mind you, I will say though, if you hit on a couple of things I want to go back to, but mind you, the way they're looking now, they're kind of looking like what the Pointer Sisters would have wore back in the day too. Think about it.
Kareem, this is the whole thing. This is the thing, though, Kareem. But again, EV had their clothes. You see what I'm saying? And they were trendsetters. So for you to not be a trendsetter anymore, you're not. Because unfortunately, whether you agree or disagree, my thing of it is you guys set a trend. You started something, and unfortunately, y'all haven't been able to keep up. And I know that that support group that they have, it cracks me up, because what cracks me up about them is they will say that they just love this current brand and so forth and so on. And I'm like, okay, none of y'all keep it real with none of them and say, hey, this production is terrible, especially coming out from being the first to do something, and y'all can't even keep up with the integrity of what it was as far as the production, which is because of promoters. They will say that group, that's my point, they were stating that they don't know what Miss Robinson, who is a founding member of the group, was stating when she said that they made 2 cents per album. They can't believe that. I'm like, well, I believe it, because look at them now. I mean, because if they made bad decisions back then, and they just had the machine behind them, which was a record label. Now that the machine is no longer with them, look at their production now.
But let's hold on. Oh gosh, I need a piece of paper and write all this stuff down. You said I need to come back to, because I mean, okay. So let's talk about the fact that the record company was never behind them, period, if you ask me. I'm talking about it's just what it is, because they've said it before. You remember when they came out and MC Hammer was like, hey, y'all can borrow my equipment, or I think it was the speakers or something. He allowed them to do that. And then I remember watching, I was made a comment in the EnVogue craze, I don't mind saying their name, and I said, why is it that I never saw Debbie T perform with them on lives? Like, she never showed up on any of their performances. And someone, I heard Dawn say in a one of her many interviews, she said that Debbie never showed up because they couldn't afford her. They didn't have it in the budget to have her come out and perform. Or I figured maybe just one performance would have been great, or a couple of performances. But anyway, and what else I was about to say? We know that Tommy and Denny, helped with the black dresses, right? We're aware of that. So,
well, and the ladies, and the four ladies.
And so what I'm saying is so my question would be, then who was in charge of all of that? It has to be Tommy and Denny then. If Terry and Cindy is not doing anything, maybe Tommy and Denny is not as involved as we think as far as putting it together.
Well,
I'm talking about like the support. Maybe they're supporting themselves in other ways with the group. I'm talking about as far as being, profiting. I'm pretty sure they have some kind of involvement in the group, but I don't know if they're involved in the, you know what I'm saying, like in the development of the group and how the group is, seen, some of the things that the group would do, like that part. I'm saying maybe they're not that involved in that anymore, and maybe that's where they slipped off it. I don't know, because is it that EnVogue is pretty much on their own then, doing what they're doing?
This is what I will say on that. This is what I'll say on that. For me, Tommy and Denny, I get tongue tied. Tommy and Denny, first of all, are the original producers, and yes, they still own half of EB's name. But the only thing of it is they are not recording artists hardly anymore. Reason why I will say that they record every couple 14 years, but they do not really record like that. Like, I mean, they're not the new girls on the block, is what I'm saying. So what that means is there's really nothing that they can do, for that, on that aspect. But when I think about the original contract, as Candy Burris, who is a part of the legendary group Escape, I recently just heard her, well, I mean, not recently, but over years, heard her say about how all the groups back in the day pretty much got a starter deal. And I believe Ms. Robinson was explaining that to us as well, a starter deal, which is really the way Candy explained it was that the record company does not know what you're going to make, if you're going to be successful, whatever. They're putting a lot of money into you, rather it's just a cheap thing or whatever, because you're coming out on their label. So you might not have everything on the first record, the first project, because they are investing just by saying, hey, we're going to shoot a video or whatever.
That's true.
So with that being said, even, so once you are proving yourself, you're supposed to go and renegotiate, which is what Ms. Robinson claimed that she was going to do.
But they can't do that if it's non-negotiable. That means that they are stuck like Chuck versus
I mean, that's news to me. I never heard that it was non-negotiable. I just remember the original contract was supposed to be for that record, and then they would go in and renegotiate. But they just did not do that. They just never cohesively did it. But I didn't know that they couldn't have done it. I never heard that.
From my understanding, one of the ladies have said that it was a non-negotiable contract that they had. But like as I said before, I'll say it again, when the mothership hits, right, and everybody knew that this was going to be profitable for the label, the producers, and for the ladies, then they, what is it? You cut your nose to spite your face. And so what they did was, to me, in my opinion, I say it over and over again, in hindsight, Tom and Denny should have just simply said, hey, all right, let's renegotiate this particular deal that we have, because we know, as Terry has once said, they had lightning in a jar. So let's go ahead on and do that. And they didn't. That's my thing. And quite naturally, Tom and Denny shouldn't have had to renegotiate, because it's the contract that they all signed. But again, they should have did that, though, because again, it's the production. I know they're talking about. It sounds like they're talking about the record company, but don't forget they have a production deal with Too Tough Enough Productions. They're signed to Atlantic Records. So now I'm thinking about which one she's talking about. Is it production deal? Who's giving them those 2 cents? Is it Tom and Denny, or is it the record company?
Well, I believe the way that she explained it was, the way Don Robinson explained it was that it was through the production company, because they had a record deal and not the 4 ladies. However, eventually they even under the old contract, had a record deal. I'm sorry, but at first they did not. So with that being said, they didn't get one until later on, which was still a negotiation, because now they don't have a Too Tough Enough Productions deal. They have a record label. They have an actual deal with the label, so they don't have a Too Tough Enough after they cut Denny and Tommy out, which allegedly they were saying that they had forged stuff and all kind of stuff to try to get them to stay with Too Tough Enough. And allegedly,
allegedly,
yes, allegedly, Tommy got his sister to forge documents so that they could renegotiate a deal with Too Tough Enough. But they got signed directly to the label, so that becomes a whole nother deal. And this is my thing.
It is a whole nother deal. That's a whole nother deal, whole nother situation. So that's my first time hearing that.
Oh yeah, I mean, Don Robinson said it numerous of times, as well as Cindy Herron said that it's in their Divas Diary on YouTube. As well as Terry Ellis, they got signed directly to the label, and that was right before the EV3 album came out. So
true. But I'm talking about the forging allegedly of documents.
Yeah, allegedly. And then I heard that Maxine Jones had a interview stating that I believe it was Tommy who stated, or Tommy or Denny, whoever it was, it don't matter, that they said that they would rather tear the group down than to watch them go on without them. And so, which is why they still own a half of their name, and which I kind of could see as, and I believe that Don Robinson, one thing that I did agree, because I mean, not agree, but I kind of saw what she was saying, was when she stated that every interview that they ever did, they had to say Thomas, Denzel Foster, Thomas McElroy, to let people know that they were the producers and the brainchild.
Oh, I got so tired of. Terry says that I get so tired of them saying it.
Every time they say it, you just know that it's about them. And of course, because of personal relations with Terry Ellis and one of the producers, a lot of times they felt like, we gotta keep saying y'all gotta miss our start. But it's almost like we don't have anything that we can't go. And then by not Organized Noise writing their biggest hit to this day, I proven that they can do stuff without them. I'm sure that made everything, more, because y'all started us and we thank y'all, but now we trying to get our own identity, because now we want to fight for money, but then, and we have proven that we can make real good records with somebody that's not you. So whether that's good or bad, like think about how that way be. Organized Noise wrote "Don't Let Go, Love,"
Oh yeah,
and that's their biggest song to this day, which will never be duplicated. So therefore, I can see how somebody would feel like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you started us. I thank you for that. And I can see them going, well, I did start y'all, so y'all should be thankful. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going with y'all. And them kind of going, parents, we didn't grow up now. You know what I'm saying? And we got a crappy deal because everybody can agree that the original deal was crap. Everybody said it.
Oh, well, absolutely, yes.
So therefore, if that's the case, and I know it was, if they had to go through two Tough Enough Productions and then get a record deal, it's hard for people to get a record deal right now today. And I mean, even though people are independent, but it's tough for them to get a record deal and be signed directly to the label. So imagine being signed to a production company. And then, I mean, New Edition proved that in their story about how they were signed to a production deal. So it's like production deals just don't never turn out right for the artist. So
absolutely, that's understandable. Yeah, that's just anybody's situation. So are you? So am I to believe? So if I'm thinking about this EnVogue thing right now, so what you're saying to me is Tommy and Diddy created this group, and we have wow, this is just so much. Oh gosh. So Dawn is saying that they're getting paid 2 cents per album, and that's understandable, with the Born to Sing and the Funky Divas record, right? And it will also, I guess, be the remix to Sing as well as the Runaway Love EP. So let's just say they get paid 2 cents. Dawn is constantly saying over and over again, hey, this is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue. She said it. MC Hammer has pointed it out to her. She's even said in interviews in the past, and this was way, way in the past, that even the Brat, she had a conversation, I think, once with the Brat, and the Brat was talking about how Jermaine, take care of everybody over there, this, that, and the other. And I think she said something about they had cars, or the Brat said she was able to buy her mother a house. She was saying this to Dawn or something like that. And Dawn was like, what? I can't buy anybody anything or something like that. But anyway, so, and I remember now, you don't remember this. You don't remember this. Because I don't think you was not born when Funky Divas came out, were you?
I was 3 months old.
Oh, when Funky, okay. So, so when the Funky Divas record came out, I don't know if you are aware of the Rodney King incident. Back in the day, if you're familiar with Rodney King. And the ladies of EnVogue was on the radio. And somebody called, one of the DJs that they were talking to at the time came up and said, this person donated, let's just say they donated $5,000. That's not the amount, I don't think. But let's just say so-and-so donated $5,000 to, the Rodney King cause or whatever that was. I don't know if it was directly to Rodney King, but, they collected money. Ladies of EnVogue was like, no, we can't do that. We can do this, we can do that, but as far as money, we don't have it like that, and so they got a lot of people calling in to them, basically saying, we know EnVogue got money, we buy their records and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. And then Terry made a comment during the Funky Divas record that she drives a Ford Pony Escort. I remember that. Like I said, I remember this stuff. So I was like, huh? She was like, yeah, we just don't have it like that, blah, blah, blah. That's what she said. Now I'm saying to myself, like, this is Funky Divas. And this is what you're driving? Like, I would just like to think that you would be driving at least something besides that. Now, another comment that was made, and it could have been the same situation, supposedly, that Cindy was driving a 1990 Lexus. Okay. Wow. This was Funky Divas record, so the Lexus had to be about 3 or 4 years old, right? But it's what it is. If you, let's say she purchased a car, you're gonna pay do anywhere between 5 and 7 years anyway, right? 5 is the good number, 7 is not. So I'm just gonna say. So It's her car. If she bought it in 1990, then that sounds like reasonable, right? I'm not trying to get a new one, you know. But Dawn has said that Tommy and Denny got new Porsches. Every one of them got a new Porsche every year. Okay, where I'm going with this is that even then they was getting a lot of flack about the fact that they're saying they couldn't afford certain things, right? Terry has went head on and said, at the end of the day, this is my bread and butter. This is what I have to do. And if I have to pay my sister's rent, X, Y, and Z, then that's just something that I'm going to do, you know? So she made that perfectly clear around that time as well. So the one who really didn't have anybody saying anything about was pretty much Maxine. It was her. You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody like it. That's the thing that I like. And then I'm like, because you just don't know where she is in the midst of all of this. But anyway,
well, first of all,
so we know there's some financial things going on in the camp. We do know that.
Well, I wanted to just make a note on that. First of all, Maxine Jones does not like interviews. Okay, I found that out that Maxine does not do them because she does not like them, which is why everybody has always noticed that if you go back, Maxine Jones never speaks unless it's spoken to. Never.
And sometimes she don't do that.
She's got to almost say something that she really wants to say. Maxine Jones does not, and I do repeat, does not ever say anything. So a lot of stuff could be that went on. Max ain't gonna say nothing. So you ain't gonna be able to just tell because Max said this, that, and the third. You couldn't do no unauthorized movie, nothing. Because Max ain't said nothing. I mean, unfortunately, that's the terrible part about it. She ain't said nothing. So it's like, I get what you were saying on that, but go ahead.
So all of that is happening within the camp. I'm just talking about financially wise, okay? Now, I'm like I said, I'm not quite sure because I guess looking at it, you could just really and truly see that, I mean, Tommy and Dean are definitely profiting from it. You can definitely say that the record companies are definitely profiting from it. So, I mean, when it comes to the four of them, there's no room for any back and forth because it's just the truth. It is what it is. Like, I would like to think, and this is where they made the mistake, is with David. I never really said his name all the time, but I'm going to say it now, though. But he was their then current manager. And the problem with that particular situation is what it is. You are everybody's manager, and so your interest is not in the interest of anybody at this moment in time, except you just want to get paid. Because think about it. It almost sounds like if Sylvia didn't like anything the ladies had put out, and I've always heard that, but now I do know for a fact Tommy and Denny has said this. Like, it's finally came out their mouths. I've never really heard them say anything. That, yes, it's true. She did not like the records. And I think they butted heads with Sylvia simply because they wouldn't change anything. But Sylvia couldn't do anything. It's their production company. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying her hands are tied because, she has no voice at the end of the day, if you think about it, because truthfully, they could take EnVogue somewhere else. At the end of the day, you see what I'm saying? So my thing is this. So I still like to assume that Tommy and Denny really made the ladies of EnVogue what they are in the beginning. That's what I'm saying. Like, sticking to their guns with everybody else and making sure that they're not changing anything, that they're staying in pocket with their concept for what they have for these ladies. That's what I'm saying. Like, they knew what they wanted and they didn't back down from it. I'm saying what the thing that stabbed them in the foot was that they did it towards the ladies and they didn't have to. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they're sticking to their guns with everybody else, but you're not listening to what you created because you're saying, well, it's a non-negotiable deal, take it or leave it. It is what it is, blah, blah, blah. We can replace you. I got her in my back pocket. This one don't know what she's doing. And, this one don't have a clue, all that stuff. Like, when you do that, you see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're not creating anything for yourself but trouble. Because think about it. Somebody's going to break loose. And it's Dawn, the one who's saying, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. So my thing is that I'm thinking that after the Funky Divas, after the Boy in the Scene, I'm thinking that everything is on the up and up. Ain't no need me lying. I'm thinking. Come to find out what? I think the lady said, now that all this stuff is coming back to my remembrance. I think the lady said that someone said that when they went, the On the Scene record was done, they had came back from tour, they get a call. Let's go back into the studio. Like as soon as they got off tour, maybe I'm like, as soon as they, landed or whatever, like we're going back into the studio and we're going to record. They came back in and they got the same deal as far as the advances are concerned. I don't know if the advances was $2,000 or $5,000. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the first advance was $2,000 for each one of them, if I'm not mistaken. But they get the same amount of money.
It could be. This is my thing. This is my thing, and I'm gonna get it. See, I'm so glad I ain't on that page. I ain't never wanted to be on that page. Don't get it twisted. When I say I ain't never been on that, I never wanted to be on that page. I have somebody who always sends me requests to join, and I never wanted to be on that page.
You get requests of things you say, and you get requests.
No, well, I mean that's basically by the same person we know, T. Lee. She always invites me. She invites because she a part of mom. I told her 1,000 times, like, T, I do not want to be on that page because, first of all, this is the thing though. When it's all said and done, they harp too much on the old business about this and that, and I get all of that. Like, all of that is what happened. A lot of that as fans, we will probably never know because we got 4 ladies, they producers, we got Sylvia Rome. This is my biggest thing. After which, whatever happened, let's fast forward to 97, when Don Robinson goes to this room, and in my opinion, and I've stated this, that she is still in that room. What I mean by that is she has relived that hurt to a T, which I know that she did. You see what I'm saying? I believe that she was hurt in that situation. I don't care what happened, how big she got in her ego or her thinking. However, this is my other thing, because I'm just going to move it along to bring it to the speed. After she leaves EnVogue, which is a big sad thing because they were referred to as the Supremes of the 90s. They have the older classic look, but they are the urban version of that, or the new generation, I should say. They are a pop group. They friendly. They've been on rock. They do commercials. They do all kind of things like. And at that time, they were trend setters. So she leaves there, and for a year and something, nobody hears from her. She never says anything. And you can see right now on YouTube a lot of people even stating, "Oh, we're going to get an interview from EnVogue to see what they're up to after the leaving of one of their members, Don Robinson." And everybody would just ask them about that, and it became gloomy, which means that was a big thing at that time. That was no thing where, because don't get me wrong, when groups change, everybody feels a way. But for some reason, what I've noticed was it was a big thing, a big spotlight on the fact that one of them had left.
Right, because I'm letting you 1992 in, and you about what, at this moment, you about 5 or 6. I'm letting you know. I kid you not. EnVogue was like the thing. Like, it really was like, and especially.
I got that element of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know that you were a part of
1997, I'm here to tell you, those ladies was gone for a long time. And when they came back, I'm here to tell you, it was like a much needed, I don't know. It was like when they came back and you saw them together and that song, it was a hit. People love Don't Let Go Love. It was like everybody just talked about it, talked about the video. I'm telling you, I think the combination that they had with EnVogue, with the 4 ladies of EnVogue, and then you had the 4 ladies that set it off, I think it just kind of everything kind of mesh well, complementing each other because EnVogue now they're more edgy. They have an edgier sound, an edgier look. And I'm here to tell you, I don't know. It just seemed like the cosmos came together for that one because I mean, it was a hit and everybody was looking for that record. I'm talking about the record that was calm and when it didn't happen, think about it. It's at the height of their career.
That's right. That's right.
The very height. Like, forget Hold On and when they came out. This was like EnVogue on steroids. This is what it's like. It's EnVogue on steroids.
Check this out. This is what really got it. This was, if you think about Don't Let Go Love, this is pop meets rock meets R&B. So you got the biggest right there. If you listen to that song, you're gonna hear some rock, you're gonna hear R&B, and you're gonna definitely hear a little pop in there. You know what I'm saying? But this is my thing. This is what really got me about that, though, Kareem. This is like you said, and you know, I just want to interject on that for a minute. That really right there, that was a big deal. That was a very big thing. And you know, at the time, like you said, I was younger. But everybody knew that song in the urban community because Set It Off has really now become a cult classic.
It has.
As soon as you hear that intro, while they got that love scene going on, it's just it's a good. You can't knock it. And
you're right. The song was perfectly placed in that movie too. Yeah, you're right. Like everything is perfectly placed for them. And as I'm thinking about it, as you're talking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm just saying to myself, you have where Babyface went wrong with them with whatever. Like I said, I think Babyface is like a Babyface, and I said that in my video that I don't have access to right now. But anyway, so I said that in my video about Maxine, you know, when I was trying to focus on Maxine, is that Babyface tried to copy the My Loving song. He did. Like when you hear it, it sounds like it's My Loving, but it's in a different, it's stylized different. But again, the background vocals, everything, that's My Loving again, what I'm saying. So then when Tommy and Denny comes back out with Riddle, it's copying My Loving again. I'm like, okay, this is kind of like boring. All right. But what Organized Noise did is that, to me, Free Your Mind really crossed those ladies over. And Don't Let Go Love, they captured the audience that liked Free Your Mind because those songs are so comparable to each other. It's still rock based, but Don't Let Go Love, and as you said, have all those elements of pop, rock, and R&B and all of that in there. But, you know, Free Your Mind is definitely rock, but they got it. Like that song really and truly looked like it fit well for those ladies. And that's why I'm saying like all of that was definitely there for them. So when Dawn left, it could have been, I don't know. Okay, another thing that hurt them. I didn't think about this. Dawn is the lead singer on that song. So she's gone. The lead singer of the song that everybody liked at that time is gone.
And then
anybody else singing that song, it's kind of like we missing something.
If you think about it, this is my thing. They're an ensemble group. Everybody is the lead singer, but Don Robinson sang on primarily a good share of the hit records. You know what I mean? Not the songs that just that you just have on the album where you hear everybody. I'm talking about the songs that they tour off of right now. Even their song with Salt and Pepper, which is a classic, which is What a Man, that's her. She's leading majority of it. I think Cindy Herron was on maternity at that because she's pregnant in the video. But which features the vocals of Don Robinson primarily, Terry Ellis, and Maxine Jones. But when you hear that song, you hear her. You see what I'm saying? Even crossing over to the hip hop, you see what I'm saying? So it's like she was a very core part, giving him something he could feel. Nobody really, especially at that time, they never really touched on, you know, sampling like Aretha Franklin. Like that was big stuff to do. But a lot of times when you do giving him something he can feel, you think EnVogue as well. You know what I'm saying? Aretha Franklin, but you think EnVogue, and that's because of her. And
right.
that's
But
something
here's
that
another thing. I want to remember this because when you get going, I hear everything you're saying. I'm trying to say I get to come back to this, that, and that. So I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead,
But
man.
no, I'm just saying I don't mean to cut you off. But with the Funky Divas record, when they did Giving Them Something He Can Feel and Hooked on Your Love, your favorite girl group now, Escape, copied them again, though. I don't care what nobody say because they came out with Who Can I Run To?
They did. Let me explain.
And they copied them, and I said, "Look at this! Y'all trying to do this.
This is the whole thing. Check this out. Check this out, though, Kareem. Escape. Let me tell you something about them. Whether you know it or not, Escape has always loved EnVogue.
I never said they did. I'm talking about you saying
they have always. But this is the thing. This is the thing that I know that you don't understand. First of all, they won Team Summit singing "Hold On."
I was there. I watched it. I'm down.
What I'm saying is, this is what you don't get. They were the hip hop version. When you got hip hop and you sing R&B, it's different because this is the thing.
Let me play advocate.
Wait a minute. Let me explain. Escape and EnVogue had all the commercial success. Escape was still platinum at the same time as well. And now this is the deal with that they had. They had a sex appeal and a hip hop urban edge, which made them a little bit more different. Now, when you say copy, because they weren't trying to be involved.
I'm talking about album concept. I'm talking about the concept of the album right now. I'm not talking. Okay, let me tell you this. Let me just say this. And with Escape and TLC, let's just say this. There's a girl group that came out in 1991 or so. Their name is Ex-Girlfriend. Let's talk about these ladies. They were definitely confused about the reason why they did not hit. They are probably still confused to this day. Go look them up. Great song. I mean, it's like full force. Took Tommy and Denny's concept, created a girl group around it, and made them edgier, but kept them in a form of class. They tried to keep them classy. But if you look at them right now, they did all the harmonies and all of that stuff. They came out. They failed, number one, because they said, if I remember hearing this, if EnVogue is born to sing, Ex-Girlfriend was singing before EnVogue's birth. That's that. See, that's why I keep trying to tell you, nobody wants to touch these ladies because they know that when it's said and done, that's gonna kill your career. Because think about it. Forget the music industry right now. We're talking about media. Forget that. We're talking about just media, period. The media and the public love these ladies. Who cares what the industry said about them at the first time? I'm saying we gravitated towards these ladies. So I'm like, whoa. So now if you dissing them like that, right? If you coming for me, you saying you're coming for them, then you better be on it.
That's
you
right.
know what I'm saying? So
right.
when I looked, I said, no, y'all don't look better than them. No, y'all don't dress better than them. And yes, y'all can sing, but y'all sounding too hard and too rough. And I'm confused. I'm confused. 1 minute you very classy, and the next minute you're edgy. Pick one. Like, it's like 1 minute I love my man, and then the next minute I would kick his butt if I have to. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how they was coming out. So I was like, no. So they did well. They did well as far as a single. I think they got like a top 5 single. It did well. Why Can't You Come Home? I love the record. I love the song. Especially love the record. When I listen to it, it's definitely a copy of Born to Sing. It is. Go in and listen to it. You compare each song. It's not a diss to Full Force now, because like I said, these ladies were really looked like they was about to pop. It didn't happen. So when it didn't happen for them, and then TLC comes out, they're confused. These ladies even said they're confused because they was like, well, we did the same thing that TLC is doing. Why didn't it happen for us? Because there are, you know what I'm saying, the baggy pants, this and the other. Well, first of all, I mean, the things that they were saying about and singing about and the way TLC looks, I mean, there's not one unattractive member of TLC. It's just what it is. Say what you want to say. Each one looks good in their own way, but I mean, there were nice looking girls, right? So anyway, long story short, then you see this pattern of all these other girls Think about it. You have what's her name? That's when Escape Them starts to come out. That's when you see SWV. That's when you see Destiny Child and all of them. So that's why I'm on the always on the point is that people realize producers, everybody realize the record companies. We can't compete. We're not going to try to compete. We can't win. So
Well,
when
check this
you
out.
think about Escape, though, and I'm trying to get that Escape in there. When you think about Escape on Teen Summit, let's just be honest for what it is. They didn't pop. They sung the song. Everybody saw them singing it. They didn't pop, right? It's kind of like Star Search, right? The loser on Star Search always come out the one who you remember because they go back, find out what went wrong, and then they fix it, tweak it. They come back out, and the next thing you know, we see them. The winners of Star Search, you hardly ever see them. It's just what it is. So what I'm saying is this, is that when they find out, because you can't tell me nobody looked at Ex-Girlfriend to try to see what went wrong with that group. And
Okay.
I'm saying, even though they came out, they released a second record. Ex-Girlfriend came out with a second record. That song was produced by R. Kelly. R. Kelly could not give these ladies a hit. He couldn't.
Well, this is my thing. This is my thing, though, Kareem. Check this out. Regardless of how, yes, Teen Summit was their thing, but it really wasn't their time. Really, when at this time, Candy Burris may have been 14 when they won Teen Summit, and yes, they thought because they had met up with who was it at that time that was trying to, I believe it was Keith Sweat. And he had promised the girl something, escape meaning, and they had been, offers all the time, but they just didn't. But they came out the next year, and it was, and ever since then they had something. And see, this is my thing, and I want to back it up because I want to bring it up to speed in such a short time, which is the EnVogue situation. EnVogue, who was on top, who was the first blueprint, who was where everybody said they got their start from. After Sylvia Rome had much got done washing up with them like a rag and throwing them out like they were nothing, they tanked. And not only did they tank, their image of what it was, because I'll keep it real. Cindy Herron said it best. And once EV3 came out, the fans were disappointed to see what happened, and see they were, and it even happens in our fellas with our male groups. And I do those kind of chronicles on TikTok all the time because it talks about, like when Cisco was talking about with the fellas with Drew Hill. He was stating that, once Woody left, when people start to see that it was only 3 of them, they dwindle. People are very big on perception. And as soon as you change the dynamic, you have to better had hit it hard or had marketed it well. Destiny's Child did because they marketed well. But anyway, this is my biggest thing. Nobody was checking for EnVogue anymore. And so unless you were a core audience member, nobody was checking for them. They went along. Maxine Jones was like, hey, I'm over it. There's so many things. They lost their record deal. They were no longer anything. So they just went on the touring market, usually the Chitlin circuit. And after that, she was replaced by another singer, Amanda Cole. And after Amanda came in, who pretty much does covers of other people's music, she came in as, Maxine's thing. They did this Christmas album that went, whatever. After that, then they needed a new singer because Amanda was pretty much saying, I'm creatively limited, which she's never had any other interviews to my knowledge to be able to explain her departure. But this is my thing. We in the urban community, all watch the Jamie Foxx show. We know who Rona Bennett is and who is a phenomenal. If you guys don't know her, check her out. She is a phenomenal singer, songwriter, and actress. She's a part of the Mickey Mouse Club. We know her from the Jamie Foxx show when she tried to kiss Jamie and was his partner at Jingles 2000. She became a part of EnVogue. Now, as a vocalist, absolutely. That's no thinking about that. they began to go around it. Now, what people don't know is Don Robinson and Maxine Jones were invited to record the Soulflower album, but they declined from wanting to participate. They didn't want to. So then, while they were doing that, Cindy Herron, after getting that, she had gotten pregnant. So at this time, Maxine Jones, who still legally owned the name EnVogue while she was out, was asked to come in with with Terry, Rona, and they toured. That didn't really go nowhere, right? Okay, that was nice. But so Maxine is now singing with her replacement. Okay, so for me, this is just me watching that. And then not only that's something. So then she steps back out. Cindy has her baby. They go back into working. After this, they're doing their little thing, and nobody's really checking for EnVogue. They are silenced, even though they started this phenomenon. And around 2005, even though they just put out this album, Stevie Wonder and Prince, they have a song for them. They have another opportunity, and
I remember
Don, Cindy, Terry, and Maxine, the original, as well as AKA the real EnVogue or whatever. They got back together, and they even sang at the Hip Hop Awards with Salt and Pepper and Spinderella. And after that, they, Don couldn't negotiate again. But at that time, they thought they were going to recreate all the magic because the magic was in the four ladies. Mm-hmm. And each time that they did that, they told Miss Bennett, see you later. We love you. You sang with Cindy and Terry. You sang with Terry, Maxine. But now it's our time. Prince and Stevie Wonder want us. We'll see you later. And for me, that was something that was shady upon them. I don't care what nobody has to say. So when I make a reference to how they are today, forgive me for not feeling that way, because I just feel like, to me, Rona's too talented to really be just as needed. However, she's getting her check, which I ain't mad at that, because at the end of the day, they could right now allow her to own that name, but they don't. After that, Maxine is still staying, so they probably at this time are moving on the momentum. So they tell Rona, you can come on, and why can't it be four? They won't nobody hardly notice. And if you look, there's a picture of Maxine, Terry, and Cindy, and then Rona's kind of towering over them. She has a lot of hair in her face. And usually, if maybe say I was a person of another nationality or somebody who hasn't kept up with EnVogue for years, and I just see four ladies and the name says EnVogue, I would get the perception that that's the original members, because that's the way she looked. And at that time, if you didn't look, you would think, of course, she doesn't look like Don Robinson, but you would get that perception once you looked at it, because in the beginning, you really could not tell. And a lot of it, they reworked it that way. She sang the second soprano like Don Robinson did, so they pretty much packaged it like it was EnVogue. However, the production was not what it was, because they did not look like they used to, meaning it was not good quality. Okay, they were singing and doing everything from Tom Joner's Cruise Ship. They were doing things like BB King's, which the stage is no bigger than the screens that we're on right now. They were not what they were as the caliber. Okay, so I can kind of see what was said was got to be true, because even if they were not financially wealthy, their production should have been that way. If a promoter were to say, I want EnVogue, I would know that I would need some money. But the truth of it is, you don't need that much if you get them, and that's the sad part. That's why I say what I say. And then June 24th happens, 2008, and you see Cindy, Terry, Don, and Maxine, who had started singing together again in April of 2008. So then they pretty much told Miss Bennett, yet again, who is now singing with them, hey, we're going to do a couple of shows with Don. We're working it out, because they know that there's something there. They wouldn't have taken those steps to have those kind of conversations on either side, whether it be Don or whether it be the ladies, if it wasn't something between the four of them. And at this time, Don Robinson doesn't own EnVogue's name. She doesn't. However, She is just as much as important to the group as everybody else, which is why when Alicia Keys called, even as stubborn as Miss Robinson could be, she know at that time, she says on an interview, she says, I don't care if Rona was there or not. Alicia Keys was there. Because one thing I know about the four ladies, they know that promotion comes money and request. And so with them, Alicia Keys was interested in them. She was going to do it. But she was ever more pleased that it was just them. Okay? This is somebody who assumption that has told it has not been working in years, sticking to her gun and even her pride and ego. But Alicia Keys asked for them, and she's not technically a member, but she's a founding member. She did not ask for Miss Bennett, and Miss Bennett was there at the BET Awards, and she walked the red carpet. And usually celebrities, if you'll know, Kareem, will go to a person that they know on the red carpet and say, oh, we see you. You here? I'm here. Let's take a picture. They didn't do that with Miss Bennett at all. Miss Bennett walked in there, and if there is, I would like to see the picture, not out of a nasty way, but I would like to see them have taken a picture with her, because to me that was shady on their behalf then. Why not? And the only reason why Miss Bennett was there is because EnVogue did not have a concert. Why? Because the original four, they were standing there going, hey, we back together. And that night, I never did see Alicia Keys introduce them. She turned around and said, what's this song? And everybody knew, because that was them. Okay. You could not get no better than having the ones. Yes, they are a nostalgic group. Yes, they are gone from today's current music, but look at who was the founder. And for me, I'm thinking like, I remember being a little boy and I hearing about them breaking up. And you mean to tell me all four of them is there? Because I remember faces if I didn't know names. And they really rode that momentum. They stayed in the press. They were doing a reality show. They were going to do this and that. Miss Bennett was not there. Now, she was still touring with them in this year, but they never mentioned her in interviews or anything. Not saying that they should have, but I'm saying it's as if she was not a part of what was, and she was a current member, even on Wikipedia. Come on, somebody. And even after that happened, they pretty much, the three ladies who owned the name pretty much said, hey, Don is here. And everybody know who we are and what we do. Forget you. You know what I'm saying? And then for years, they did not sing with her. And in 2010, I remember she had a show. Rona had a show, and it was called Ask Ro. And we could ask her questions if she was kind enough to answer, and she was. And she really is a personable person, a real nice person. And she answers the question. And she was going to open for EnVogue, who was the headliner of the tour, them and Genuine at the Nokia in Los Angeles. And they asked her, they said, Rona, will you come out and do a song with EnVogue? And she graciously said, well, if they ask me, you know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with that. But that's the thing, Kareem. They never asked her. Because to the public's perception, she never existed. She, even though she toured with them, she wasn't EnVogue. Now, they were singing songs that she had, not that they were any hits. Let me clear that up. Not that they were any hits. But they were singing them because they were part of the set. There was no hits with her. And unfortunately, people would like to just try to attack the original. Well, y'all wrong for not wanting Rona. Well, y'all not mad at the ones that sing with her now who push her to the forefront. The only reason why they push her up in current years is because the other ladies, because we had to go sue, and y'all have spoken negatively about us in the press. If we don't hold on to who we got, we won't have no check. We won't, because really and truly, Quaz is kept, as the old folks used to say. Cindy and Terry would gladly go on with just being the two of them if they could get by. But because they need somebody to harmonize with and hold that note, they want Miss Bennett. And Miss Bennett is only really doing it really because it's a check. You see what I'm saying? Because think about it on a personal perspective. Y'all left me twice, okay? And y'all left me for the last 4 years. And the truth of it is, if Maxine Jones had never left, they would have never, even in 2012, if you think about it, they signed to Rough Town Records, which is Renee from Angela Winbush, and Renee. They signed with his they signed to his production you know, as well as it was very marketable. Nothing ever came out, no hits. And
but I got to interject though. I'm here to tell you, if Terry, Cindy, and Maxine was to have been able to release that single, I'm here to tell you, when I heard it, I was like, whoa. And I'll cry later. I'll cry later. If they had a release, I'll cry later. I'm here to tell you that I'll cry later is in the same style as Don't Let Go Love. And if they had a release that as I'm talking about just a single. If they had it worked out for them, they would have really been popping. Just Terry, Cindy, and Maxine, I believe.
This is my thing. And I was trying not to.
I would have did something like kept that song. I don't understand why they didn't try to keep that song. That one song, they could have tried to keep it and put it on another album or something.
This is my thing though, Kareem. Again, people are big on perception. Okay. At this time, the original ladies were still performing together, even though Miss Robinson neglected to sign. They still were doing so, and she put out a single and a video itself. It was not a hit either. But this is my thing. The truth of it was nobody wanted the EV3 album in 1997. And nobody, wait a minute, this is my thing.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just talking about just keeping the song. Somehow they should have kept
the song would have been good, but check this out. In order for it to really have been marketable, you would, because not that you call nobody a has-been, but when you're not the young person on the record anymore, once you come back, the real way to market is when you got everybody back together. Y'all just been saying y'all got back together. The hitch and the plan don't look good for Escape. It don't look good for EnVogue. It don't look good for nobody when everybody is not there, if everybody's still alive. Don was just there. And see, it was a disappointment. We just said it was a disappointment in 97. No matter what nobody would have done, no matter how good everybody sings, as soon as something is missing, people go. Now, again, and EnVogue is an ensemble group, which means everybody is the lead singer, right? Okay, so if everybody is the lead singer, what happens when Don's fans is not there? Don's fans is going to say, I ain't going to buy it because my girl ain't on it. Or if it had been where Don, Terry, and Cindy made it, somebody would say, I ain't doing that because Max ain't on it. People are very partial about it.
My bad.
Please edit that.
My bad. This might be a good time to stop, though. Man, I hope it don't. I'm trying to catch it before my power go out. Man.
Well, yeah, we can end this one because it's been over an hour.
Oh no, but it's fine. I just realized my power was about to go out.
The power?
Yeah, my computer. Like I'm about to lose the computer. The computer power. Like the battery was about to go dead. Because I didn't have it. I didn't have it charged. I need to charge it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, well, we're at an hour. I guess we can kind of stop and I can send you another link.
All right, cool.
All right, then.